My name is Sophie and I'm a certified professional bird trainer, and I've been working with birds since 2009. I've worked in zoos and farms, wildlife parks and all different kinds of jobs, and now I currently run a business with my partner called Best Behaved Birds, where we do videos like this on YouTube, but we also help clients all around the world with their parrot training challenges and care questions as well. But it's been a long journey, if you can't tell. And I wanted to give you a few insights into my career path. If you're interested in this and you're interested in working with animals, or you're interested in bee or just anything else, I thought it'd be just something different to pop on the channel. So if you do have any questions, because I'm going to blitz through the last 15 plus years of my life, then please do drop them down below. But this is kind of where I started. Growing up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and after high school I went to what we call sixth form here, which is the kind of equivalent to college. It's like 16 to 18 education, and I was going to study philosophy and history and psychology, and then I went there and I was like, I hate this is not for me. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew that this was not my path. So I actually quit sixth form, which is quite scary. I went and got a temp job in the NHS, and I just had a bit of a year where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm a young person and I don't know what I want to do. During this time, I actually acquired some amazing pet ducks. I had Ham, Daisy and Lily, and I'm going to be putting loads of pictures here throughout this video of my journey, some of the cool animals that I've had the privilege of working with. And whilst I was looking after my pet ducks, these incredible animals, I stumbled across this webpage for a local college that was doing an animal management course, and I thought, that sounds like me, because I have always been obsessed with animals for as long as I can remember. So I thought maybe that might be my path. So I applied and I got in. So I studied a level 3 animal management course at a college, covering loads of different modules and things like that, lots of practical work as well. Now, as a requirement for any kind of course in animal management, animal care or anything like that, you have to do a lot of work experience. Part of work experience will be the hours that you're required to do, but I also did a lot more. I had the great privilege of doing a lot of work experience and work placements at zoos and wildlife parks, where I got to learn free flight training with parrots and other species like birds of prey as well. I got to work with the most incredible animals and improve my presentation skills. A big thing that people don't realise when you do work with animals is it is not cuddling animals all day. You're not sitting stroking rabbits or just playing with the parrots or training all day. It is hard work, my goodness. I'm not trying to put you off, but I kind of am as well. Because actually, a lot of the people that I went to college with and also university with, which I'll get onto in a minute, the majority of them don't actually work with animals. Or they did and now they don't. There's a very tiny, minute population of those people that I've interacted with that actually still work with animals, because it's really difficult. It's low pay, it's hard work. I've ruined my back, I've ruined my knees, I have tinnitus from being around parrots for so long, they've ruined my hearing. It is not for the faint-hearted. But you also have to work in all weathers. Doesn't matter if it's stormy, absolutely chucking it down, if it's boiling hot, if it's snow up to your ankles. I've been in all of that, it doesn't matter. I've worked on Christmas Day, I've worked on birthdays, I've missed different events because I've had to work. I've worked 16 days in a row because it is hard. And unfortunately, it's only getting harder because there's a huge amount of colleges that are offering these amazing animal management courses, which means that there's a huge amount of students now going out into the world looking for these jobs. But there aren't as many jobs as you would think. So it's a very, very tricky industry to get into, and you have to go over and above and beyond to work in these jobs. So it is hard work. I also started volunteering at this awesome collection whilst I was at college. So I did my work experience, that was like block placements, and then I started volunteering a couple of days a week. So I was on the bird section, but also on the presentation section, which is kind of the show team. So they do all of the exotic animal displays at the zoo. So part of it was birds and mammals, so that would be like your parrots and stuff, kookaburras and coatis, binturong, meerkats, raccoons, loads of cool animals. And the other half was sea lions, and I have been incredibly privileged and lucky to work with those sea lions. I was there for quite a long time, and getting to train them and work with these large animals and work with marine animals, it was just an incredible experience, and it's something that I'll never forget. And to be honest, if I hadn't got into birds, I may have explored that area more, because I loved working with them. They're so interesting to work with, and it's such a different experience to working with much smaller animals. So I loved working with the sea lions. I was there for a long time, and whilst I was there, both volunteering during college, I also took on a seasonal job for a couple of seasons as a zoo presenter. So being a zoo presenter, I got to do loads of talks around the zoo with the mic and the headset to hundreds of people on penguins and fish and lorikeets and monkeys and all that kind of stuff. I love doing that. I love presenting, and it really boosted my confidence to do it as well, because when I was a youngster, I wouldn't say boo to a goose, I wouldn't do anything, I was so quiet, but having the opportunity to do all these presentations really boosted my public speaking skills, which is a really valuable skill in itself. As well as that, we also did animal husbandry, so I got to help to look after the animals, and the lorikeets were probably my favourite. I love being there. Anytime I hear them, it's really nostalgic for me. We had a flock of almost 80 of them, and I loved being there. There were also other species in there, like a variety of pigeons and ducks and things, but I really loved being there. And as I said, I got to work with squirrel monkeys and other animals and different aquarium species. It was a really cool experience to work there for a few seasons, to kind of gain that practical experience, paid, and also to have the presentation experience too. After passing my college course with a triple distinction, I then went on to university, where I studied an honours degree in animal behaviour and welfare, where I graduated with a first. I am going to toot my own horn because I worked so hard, and during this time as well I was also diagnosed with my horrible eye conditions that I've talked about all throughout my channel that leave me in chronic pain every single day. And sometimes I can't even see out one eye, so that was hard earned. So yeah, I will toot my own horn. But yeah, I really enjoyed university. It was a great experience for me because it was at a land-based college rather than a huge university. I could tailor every assignment to birds, and I got, again, to gain this practical experience. One of the really cool animals that I got the chance to work with during my degree was Juan. He is a military macaw, and I got to do my first kind of protected contact target training with a macaw who had no experience training before, was very, very fearful of humans, like didn't want to approach, really scared, and I got him to come and target. First time he did it, I had to like internalise my scream because I was so excited, because I put so many hours into working on this trust building with him and working on positive associations with him. So when we got that first target through the bars, it was amazing. So I really enjoyed that. We got to do loads of cool things during university, but oftentimes if people want to work with animals, they say, well, do I need to go to university? Do I need a college course? Do I need practical experience? And to be honest, do you have to have a degree? No. Does it help? Yes. Especially with so many people wanting to work with animals these days, it is hard to kind of be seen and be noticed. If you have the opportunity and the privilege to go to university, I recommend doing it alongside gaining your practical experience. All throughout my college course and throughout my degree, I was doing volunteering, work placements and all that kind of stuff, and working as well. So you do need to have a bit of both, whether that's just doing a level 3 college course in animal management. That would be the baseline for me personally if I was going out into the big wide world again. But I do think that university has its own interesting things of learning how to read scientific papers and write in that style and really get to grips with things there, go into more of a deep dive into the different things that you can learn when it comes to animals. So practical experience is very, very important, because no degree is going to teach you how to clean an enclosure or how to use a broom effectively. It's amazing how many people can't sweep properly, but it's a mixture of both in my opinion. I also had the opportunity to work in a pet shop, which I didn't love, but you know, sometimes you work in places and you learn from that. I also worked in a cattery, which I did love. I do love cats, and I really enjoyed working in that. It's like a boarding place, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. Got to look after the ducks and geese that live there as well, so I got my bird fix too. But I did sample a variety of jobs over the years to gain, again, that practical experience, because just because you want to work with birds doesn't mean every job has to be with birds, otherwise you're a failure. Learning to work with other animals can have transferable skills when you want to work with a certain type. Now, it was at this point I actually got a role as a farm park assistant in a big farm park, mostly domestics and things like that. And very quickly I got promoted to head of birds, which is a really cool career milestone for me. So I was responsible for about 150 birds in the park for their kind of care and management, enclosure maintenance, and also sometimes difficult decisions as well when it comes to their health and welfare. I really enjoyed working with those birds, making that personal connection with them. We had things like chickens, ducks, geese, little finches, budgies, cockatiels, loads of turkeys as well. Love the turkeys. And we had loads of basically more domestic stock, and it was, yeah, really lovely to work with those animals. I also got the perks of having free horse riding lessons during my time at this farm, and it was very, very hard work. Working on a farm is loads of hills, loads of steps all the time. It was an interesting experience, but yeah, that was a really kind of career milestone for me, being promoted to head of birds and being responsible for so many birds and that kind of high level of care and keeping for them too. It was at this time that I met David, we fell in love, and I moved up to Hertfordshire, and I actually took on a role as a lecturer in animal care. And I got to teach these really cool modules to these college students like I was, which was animal training, care of zoo animals, animal behaviour, some really, really cool modules. And I was so excited when I got given those modules to be the teacher of. However, as much as I loved the teaching aspect of lecturing, everything else was utter chaos. To put it lightly, if you've worked in the education system, you may have a little idea of what I'm talking about here, but lecturing and the education system was not for me. There are lots of people who work with animals and then go into the education sector, and good for them, but for me, I realised this kind of setup was not my jam. So I actually moved on to a role in a vet's. I was a vet care assistant, and I got to do all the cool stuff there, looking after the animals, setting up all the anaesthetic and all the surgical stuff, and really kind of in-depth stuff like that. It was a very interesting experience, but at the same time I kind of wanted more. So I actually set up my own business doing dog walking and pet sitting on the side, again because I just don't value time off apparently, so I just want to work all the time. And I got, again, to work with loads of really cool animals, whether that was your domestics like dogs and cats, or doing pet sitting for exotics, birds, reptiles, and invertebrates and that kind of thing. And it was really freeing to work for myself. So it was an interesting blend doing that. And whilst all this kind of went about, I decided, ditch the vets, I'm going to stick with my own business and go from there, and also start YouTube. I actually started this YouTube channel on Christmas Day in 2019, and I uploaded my first video in January of 2020, and it was really scary for me because I have always loved YouTube. It's always been a huge part of what I love. It's my main form of entertainment. I don't watch a huge amount of TV. It's always been YouTube for me. Even when I was like 15 years old, supposed to be doing my GCSEs, I was like busy watching YouTube like Smosh and Dan and Phil and all that kind of stuff. I knew that starting a YouTube channel would be terrifying because people would call me fat and ugly and make fun of my glasses, as they have done throughout the 5 years that I've been on YouTube, 5-6 years, however long it's been that I've been on YouTube. But I really wanted to talk about parrots and I wanted to talk about my flock of parrots and my experience and things like that. And that was more important to me than worrying about what people thought. So if you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, just do it. Doesn't matter what people think, doesn't matter if people are going to say stupid stuff, just do it, because maybe you'll love it and maybe it'll be a really fun hobby for you. So after doing a variety of jobs, again I haven't gone through my entire CV, I've worked in a lot of keeping jobs, a lot of animal jobs and stuff, but at this point in 2020 David and I were like, you know, we want to help people in a more kind of structured way, because we've been doing all these YouTube comments and stuff like that, but some people really need like a deep dive into helping them with their birds. So we created Best Behaved Birds, and from there it's only been on the up. We've been doing online consultations with people all around the world. We have had hundreds of clients. We now run our own kind of food side of the business, so we have loads of healthy parrot foods and foraging blends and loads of cool stuff on there. We have toys on there, parrot care accessories. We have courses as well, so it really has blossomed into something that we are so proud of. And if you haven't already, go and like Best Behaved Birds on Facebook and Instagram. We appreciate all of the engagement on there because it helps our small business. Because, you know, anytime you get an order, I'm like, David, look what this person bought. I'm so excited, because that's what happens when you support a small business. I love it, and I love being able to help people. We do in-home consultations as well. We've done them for kaiques and macaws, where we actually go and help people in person, which has also been cool. So it's been a really lovely experience to do all of this and help so many people. But I do love working for myself. It is something that I really enjoy because there's so much freedom and flexibility in there. Now that being said, I can't stay away from the zoo world. My heart is in zookeeping. I've done so much of it over the years and worked in some amazing collections, but I wanted to work in another amazing collection. So my most recent kind of zoo position was at Cedars Nature Centre, where my beloved kookaburras live, Allura and Toowoomba. I did so much training with them. I trained them to target train, to recall and station, to beat up a snake, a fake rubber snake. That is not a real one, because that's what they eat in the wild, and they would bash it up and they swallow it whole. So I was kind of teaching them the bashing behaviour. Did so much cool stuff with them. We had skunks and zorillas and loads of reptiles and invertebrates and meerkats and owls, and just so many cool animals. I was so lucky to get that position and work with a really amazing team. And if you haven't already, I actually made a whole video on like day in the life of a zookeeper. I'll leave it somewhere above or down below so you can actually see kind of a typical day in the life of a zookeeper when I was working there. Prepping diets, cleaning enclosures and all that kind of stuff, doing the training too. So really enjoyed working there, but I ended up leaving because the travel was just insane. It's a really local collection to me, but because I can't drive, being partially sighted, I had to go all this like convoluted way, and it was just so many delays, and I was getting home so late. So I decided to just focus solely on best behaved birds with David, and obviously YouTube as well. And yeah, it's been amazing. We are so lucky to get to talk at parrot events, both in person and virtually online, to like bird groups in America. We've been to conferences as well. Most recently, the International Association of Avian Trainers and Educators. We both did talks there, which is amazing. We met so many cool people. And we're also on the international committee of the IAATE, so we have a say in things that are happening. I had a published article in their kind of publication, so that was a really cool experience too. There's loads of cool things going on, and I'm so excited and privileged with my career choice. Now, I am also a certified professional bird trainer. That is an actual certification. I did an exam. It was really scary. I cried afterwards. It was a whole thing. But part of that, you don't just go in and go, right, I'm going to do it and then suddenly I'm a bird trainer. You actually have to have the experience and the knowledge of many years before you even are allowed to go and take this exam. So that was a big thing, and that is part of, you know, what we do. We are all about continuing professional development, education. We have to continually do courses and attend seminars and workshops and lectures and stuff to maintain this certification. So we're always learning more, and I love that. I love learning because nobody knows everything. There's always more to learn. And that kind of brings us roughly up to date. As I said, loads of keeping jobs over the years, loads of bird work over the years. I have loved it. I ruined my body with it. I'm excited that I kind of get to work for myself with David, of course, and do what we do day in, day out. And it's only evolving and getting bigger and better with lots and lots of exciting things in the future, but we can't say too much right now. I will, as I've kind of said in other videos, I'm going to manifest it, put it out into the universe, try and make something work, because we would love to have our own facility one day where we are like a rescue centre or sanctuary or whatever you want to call it, so to actually take on birds, because we do get offered birds weekly. I would love to be able to save as many as possible. I don't know, watch this space, let's see what happens. But that is kind of my professional bird keeping journey in a nutshell. As I said, I can't go through every single thing I've ever done, but that is kind of the journey. If you do have any questions on it, I would love to speak to you. If you're interested in working with animals, I'd also love to speak to you and answer any of your questions. Hope you enjoyed this slightly different video for today, but in the meantime, thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next one.